You're literally standing on a graveyard right now. 96% of everything that has ever lived on this planet is dead. Frozen oceans, toxic air, a rock the size of Everest that showed up going 45,000 miles an hour and wiped out the dinosaurs in an afternoon. Earth has tried to end itself 8 separate times, and somehow, every single time, it failed. You're literally only here because it kept messing it up. So let's go through all 8 times this planet nearly ended everything and somehow didn't. Number 1, the late heavy bombardment. Earth is basically a newborn here, only 400 million years old, and instead of a soft landing into existence, it gets absolutely bodied by a non-stop hailstorm of asteroids and comets for millions of years straight, thousands of impacts, some the size of entire countries, just raining down like the universe had beef with this one specific planet. And here's the twist, it actually worked out. A lot of those space rocks were loaded with water and organic material, basically the starter kit for life. So Earth's origin story is literally got destroyed non-stop, turned it into a win. Number 2, the Great Oxidation Event. Earth survives the asteroid apocalypse. Oceans finally form, and life shows up. But instead of making the planet safer, life accidentally creates Earth's first mass extinction. Tiny organisms called cyanobacteria discover photosynthesis. They use sunlight to make food and as a byproduct, release oxygen. Sounds like a good thing, right? Not back then. Almost every living thing on Earth evolved in an oxygen-free world. To them, oxygen wasn't life, it was poison. And these bacteria just kept producing it, day after day, million after million years, with absolutely no off switch. At first, the oxygen was absorbed by the oceans and rocks, but eventually, there was so much of it that it started filling the atmosphere. That's when disaster struck. Most of Earth's early life couldn't survive in this new environment. Entire species disappeared, making this the first known mass extinction in our planet's history. No asteroid, no volcano, no giant earthquake, just billions of microscopic bacteria. Breathing too hard. But here's the crazy part. The same oxygen that wiped out most life also changed Earth forever. It formed the ozone layer, protecting the planet from deadly ultraviolet radiation, and allowed organisms to produce much more energy. Without this catastrophe, there would be no fish, no dinosaurs, no mammals, and no humans. So Earth's first mass extinction wasn't just an ending. Number 3, Snowball Earth. Right when things finally seem to settle down, Earth does something completely insane. It freezes itself. Not just the poles, not just the mountains, the entire planet. From pole to pole, oceans included, wrapped in ice more than half a mile thick. Imagine standing on a beach. Except the beach, the ocean, and everything beyond the horizon is buried under endless white ice. And here's the worst part. The more ice Earth had, the more sunlight it reflected back into space instead of absorbing it. Less heat meant more ice. More ice reflected even more sunlight, which made the planet even colder. It was a perfect feedback loop, a death spiral with no obvious way out. At that point, Earth should have stayed frozen forever. But beneath all that ice, the planet was still alive. Volcanoes never stopped erupting. For millions of years, they kept releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Normally, rain would wash that CO2 away, but with the entire planet frozen solid, there was almost no rain. So the gas just kept building up and building up, until eventually, the atmosphere trapped enough heat to overpower the ice. The glaciers began to crack, the oceans thawed, and Earth escaped its own frozen prison. So think about how crazy this is. When Earth almost froze itself to death, its only escape plan was to give itself an incredibly slow fever. And somehow, it worked. If those volcanoes had stopped erupting, our planet might still be a giant snowball drifting through space today. Number 4. The Permian-Triassic Extinction, the Great Dying. This is the one people don't talk about enough. About 252 million years ago in Siberia, volcanoes erupt for possibly 1 million years straight, dumping enough lava to bury the entire continental United States multiple kilometers deep. The atmosphere fills with toxic gas, oceans turn acidic, temperatures spike, oxygen crashes, and somewhere between 90 and 96% of every species on the planet dies. Not one species, basically everything. Scientists call this the worst mass extinction in the entire 4.5 billion year history of Earth. Worse than the dinosaurs, worse than anything else on this list. And somehow, a small fraction of life survives and rebuilds the entire planet from scratch. Number 5, the Chicxulub asteroid impact. You probably know this one, but the real story is even crazier than the movie version. About 66 million years ago, an asteroid around 10 kilometers, 6 miles wide, slammed into what is now Mexico at roughly 45,000 miles per hour. The impact was beyond anything humans have ever witnessed. It blasted a crater over 180 kilometers wide, triggered massive earthquakes, unleashed giant tsunamis, and sent superheated debris raining back to Earth, igniting wildfires across huge parts of the planet. Then came the worst part. So much dust, ash, and rock was thrown into the atmosphere that sunlight was blocked for months, possibly even years. Plants stopped growing, food chains collapsed, and ecosystems around the world began to die. By the end of it, around 75% of all species on Earth were gone, including every non-bird dinosaur, the animals that had ruled the planet for over 165 million years. One asteroid ended an empire that lasted longer than humans have even existed. But here's the twist. That single impact also cleared the way for mammals to thrive. Over millions of years, those small survivors evolved into countless new species, including us. So without that one incredibly unlucky rock hitting Earth at exactly the wrong place and the wrong time, there would be no humans, no civilization, and no one watching this video today. Number 6, the Toba Supervolcano Eruption. Fast forward, the dinosaurs are gone, mammals are thriving, and early humans are finally walking the Earth. Then, about 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano in what's now Indonesia erupts in one of the biggest volcanic explosions of the last 25 million years. It blasts massive amounts of ash and sulfur high into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and triggering a volcanic winter. Temperatures drop, ecosystems struggle, and survival becomes incredibly difficult. Some scientists believe this disaster pushed the human population down to just a few thousand survivors. Think about that. Humanity may have come dangerously close to disappearing forever. If that happened, then every person alive today could be descended from one tiny group of humans who somehow survived one of Earth's most devastating eruptions. One volcano, and the future of our entire species nearly ended before it truly began. Number 7, the Carrington Event. This one hits different because it's not ancient history. It's a preview of what's still on the table. In 1859, the sun unleashes a massive solar flare that slams into Earth's magnetic field. Back then, the most advanced tech we had was telegraph wires, and even those catch fire and shock the people operating them, with the northern lights visible as far south as the Caribbean. Now imagine that same storm hitting a planet that runs on satellites, power grids, the internet, GPS, banking. Experts believe a Carrington-level event today could cause trillions in damage and knock out power for months. This already happened once. Scientists agree it's happening again. Nobody knows exactly when. Number 8, the next gamma ray burst. The one that sounds fake, but genuinely isn't. Somewhere in the universe, dying stars occasionally collapse and unleash gamma ray bursts. Some of the most powerful explosions that exist, releasing more energy in seconds than our sun makes in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. Some scientists think a nearby gamma ray burst may have already caused a mass extinction hundreds of millions of years ago. by ripping away Earth's ozone layer and exposing everything to lethal radiation. The good news, a star close enough to actually hurt us would need to be positioned perfectly, at the perfect distance, aimed almost directly at us. The bad news, astronomically unlikely isn't the same as impossible. These are the 8 events that almost ended life on Earth. Yet, the future survived. Which one do you think was the craziest?